Hello, Braves country. It's Coach Ken Anderson coming to you for Hardcore Braves, and lucky who I got back on here. I got my main man Ryan. How you doing tonight?
It's been a busy weekend, man. Been a busy Sunday. The Braves allowed me to go out and do chores today. I was out cutting grass after the second inning, so that was real pleasant on this Father's Day. By the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I know this is coming out on Monday, but Ken, happy Father's Day to you. So I'm doing pretty well. Braves won 2 out of 3 from a really good team, so we can't really complain, but there are some things to complain about.
Yeah, it's a weird team. I wore my Dale Murphy jersey, trying to do something different, get them turned around. Yeah, interesting. The Brewers are as good as advertised. We knew they were going to be good. They can pitch it, they can hit it, they can play defense, they run well, and as Walt Weiss says, they really put a lot of pressure on you because they do everything well. And it's just you're going to have to play your best ball. And we really could have easily got swept in this thing, but we found a way. We'll get into the numbers. We'll start with the first game. Mizorowski is as good as advertised. He'd give up one earned run in his last 8 starts. I thought he was going to throw a shutout against us. Just to talk a little bit about him, he threw the ball great. I think the kid may be the best pitcher in baseball right now. What do you think?
I was surprised about how much weight he put on. He was a
Yeah.
twig last time I saw him last year because I haven't really kept up with him a whole lot this year. But his legs they got a lot bigger, and I think that's why his velocity. Because if anybody remembers, he was I mean, he could touch 100 last year. He'd get 100, 101 every once in a while, but it was like 98 to 100, and he jumped up to 105. Well, I can understand why he jumped up to 105 miles an hour. He like I think it was as advertised on the hip cool, right? His fastball's elite, but I don't think anything else was, and that's not necessarily to say it can't be, but it's because he throws 105 miles an hour. Everything else is going to play up because it's hard to cover 105. So, very good pitcher, but I am curious to see how much he actually develops his secondary pitches going into the future.
Yeah, you'll have to. As Mauricio proved to him, you can still hit it. You can hit a freight train. These major league hitters can eventually, if that's all they got to hit. The contrasting pitching on why pitchers can be successful. Everybody wants this high velocity. That's what the young Twitter world wants. But the old man Martin Perez went out there and said, I'm going to throw about 92 and I'm just going to smoke Milwaukee's ass. And it was brilliant performance. I think he was pumped up. He's pitched good for us all year. But I think that might have been his best start. What do you think?
No doubt about it, man. What did he go, like 6 innings?
Yeah.
He went 6 innings, gave up one singular run. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing more that you can ask out of Martin Perez there, in my opinion. He's probably been our second best pitcher for the last month, and the other one was Chris Sale. So, I mean, to be in that company is pretty good. And me and you were talking the other day, Ken. I fully believe that Martin Perez is deserving of an all-star appearance. I know that everybody's going to be like, oh my God, how can you possibly say that? Well, look at his numbers. His numbers are really good. And the Braves have won a lot of his starts because he's been so good. And without him, we are probably fighting for our lives in a wild card spot right now in the National League if Martin Perez is not in this rotation right now. So I can't say enough good things about him. So hopefully he gets the All-Star nod for I think like it would be his second time in his career. So that's where I'm at on Perez.
Yeah, I understand, Braves country, that a lot of pitchers won't be able to go, so they get bumped, and other ones. So he only has to be in probably the top 20 selections to go, and he's definitely one of the top 20 pitchers in the National League. So we'll see. So the game is interesting. They're up 1-0, and we find a way to get guys on base for the guy who we want up there with guys on base. There's really, to me, three guys we want up with guys on base right now. There's a fourth that we're going to talk about him as we get through this thing when he gets all healthy back. But there's three guys. One is Mauricio Dubon, who also should probably be considered for an all-star. If there was a utility role all-star, he would definitely be it for the National League. He hits a 103-mile-an-hour sinker into left field for 2 runs to give us a 2-1 lead. Just a terrific at bat by Mauricio.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, you're talking about 103 miles an hour late in game, so he did have a little bit more of a look at it, and it's a good thing. But I mean, it's never easy to hit 103 miles an hour, and for him to really just shorten up and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to put bat to ball and try to put something in play to make something happen. I mean, that's just what Mauricio Dubon's been doing this year for us. He just makes things happen. He wants the spotlight. I think that's the best way to describe him. And when the light shines brighter, he becomes a superstar. I mean, look, I know he's not a superstar, but in those big moments, man, you can't find anybody better who loves that moment more than Mauricio Dubon, and that is probably why he has been the singular biggest offseason acquisition for the Braves offense, I will say.
In November when we got him, I put out a video for Hardcore Braves just on my account that Mauricio Dubon will surprise you. He will be dog, you know what, with nobody on base. But then when runners get on base, he is excellent, and he's proven that. Now we're up 2-1. You always need insurance, and we have been on Yaz's butt about taking these first pitch fastballs down the middle. They bring in Abner Uribe, who's a very good relief pitcher. He throws him a sinker. He jumps all over it, hits one into the chop house. It was nice to see that Yaz took a chance and swung out a first pitch and hit it out of the ballpark. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of that as we go forward.
Well, Yaz tuned into the hitters meetings over on
That's
Braves
right.
Hip Coil. Ken, you didn't know that? I mean,
Yeah.
he looked in. He's like, you know what? They said get the sinker up in the zone against Abder. I'm going to get that, and when I do, I'm not going to miss it. And he didn't miss it. First pitch sinker up in the strike zone. He deposited into the chop house. We need to see. I just want more consistency out of him in general. I don't need the home runs all the time. Home runs are nice, but line drives into the gaps, good at bats. Let's see more of that. Yes, let's see more of that.
So it's 3-1. We go to their back end of our bullpen. Now here's the deal: everybody, including me and Ryan, were a little frustrated with the back end of our bullpen, but they have not pitched, guys. And as I got off of it, they were probably really rusty. They get all kind of hit up a little bit. Dillon gets saved by Eli White. He saves the game. I mean, that's going to be a tie ball game. That's for the Yaz home run. And he catches a ball in probably one of the most hard parts to catch a ball. And we'll go ahead and add both his plays. Then we get to the ninth inning. Rossiel is. Let me tell you something about Rossiel because me and Ryan got to talk. He's one of those relievers that needs to pitch almost all the time, and when he does this, that's when he gets off, and he's definitely off right now. So we need to start hitting the ball so he can be in more appearances. But Eli White saved his ass with the absolute perfect throw to home. Eli White's defense, Ryan, really was probably what saved the game.
He has saved two games now with just his defense. If
Yeah.
anybody remembers the game back in Los Angeles where he made that catch crashing into the wall, that was a big play at that moment in time. And then the one in the corner, which by the way you couldn't have played that any better, and it had a 5% catch probability. So, which is absolutely ridiculous that he caught that ball. And then on top of that, he caught it and then he spun into the wall to prevent himself from getting hurt. Which, if anybody caught on to that, good job because not many people do. So ball, but it was. Uh, Eli, and then you add the throw on top of that to nail the guy at the plate. Perfect throw, by the way. You couldn't have made a better throw. Drake just put the glove down. He's caught it, and he slid right into him. I mean, you literally could not have asked for anything better right there out of Eli White. He saved the game. He saved the series from us being losing 2 out of 3, potentially getting swept with how things could have gone. So, hats off to Eli White for contributing the way that he could in this series. He didn't do anything with the bat, but he dang sure made it up with the glove.
And here's the key, guys. When you're throwing the ball from the outfield, and people always wonder why they throw these balls the way they do, you don't want to air mail it. You want to have the throw, and you throw it as hard as you can to get the first bounce to get to the second bounce. And the second bounce slows enough down where Drake it don't pop out of his glove and catch it. Can be more perfect throw. I mean, Eli, and it was funny as uh, I was ahead of Ryan on the game. He was a little bit behind me. I guess it's some of that Georgia bunker TV. and he wrote me, he said, Rossell's got to get it together as he was striking out the last pitch of the game. I was laughing out loud, and he was like, what? And I was like, I'm ahead of you. So then he got to see the strikeout. But Rossell did get the job, but Rossell's got to be better. But they all three do. They all three struggled. I just put it up to Russ. What about you, Ron?
Yeah, that was a really good point. I don't think they pitched in any game probably but since New York, and then we had the rain out in Game 3 of San Francisco. We got our brains beaten by the Giants. So yeah, I'll chalk it up to Russ this time, but and I know it's hard, but you guys got to be locked down, especially right now with the offense being as bad as it is, because it is bad.
Yeah, they can't be tired because they didn't pitch the last 2 days, and they're going to San Diego, so they have pitched once in the last 8 days. So they've got to be fresh. So hopefully they'll help us when we get to San Diego. So we win the first game, and we think, whew, we got away from Miz. We'll be okay. We get to game two, and Kyle Harrison says, no, no, no. I am a Cy Young candidate this year. Now, where he's come from, they have fixed some stuff. He was outstanding. His fastball had a little giddy up there. I can see what's giving him trouble. He got just a little pump here. It looks like it's got a little elevation. We could not get on top of it. He's got a perfect game into fifth inning, and then Ozzie gets on top of it. And he did what we keep trying to scream to Braves hitters: go middle, backside. The little monster hits the ball into right field real quick. Kyle Harrison, he was good as advertised as well.
He was way better than I was expecting. I'll go ahead and keep it a buck 10 with you. I told you I don't know how he was doing it, and I still kind of don't know how he was doing it. I know how he did it against the Braves. He painted the top part of the strike zone, painted the away part of the strike zone to lefties and righties. I mean, I don't think, and I looked at his pitch plot after the game, Ken. There might have been 6 pitches in the middle of the strike zone the whole game. So for anybody who's like the offense is just terrible, yes, they have been, but they had a reason to be terrible this game. He absolutely shoved. You couldn't. There's nothing. You could have put the murderous row out there against this dude that game, and they wouldn't have done anything. You could have put the 2023 Braves lineup out there when fully healthy. They wouldn't have done anything against this guy. The dude was just that daggum good in game two. You tip your hat, but we didn't lose, Ken. We found a way, baby. We found a way.
We did, and part of the reason is as good and pumped up as Perez was to pitch a playoff type game against Mizorowski. Sale was pumped up, and he threw great, and they just couldn't hit him. He gave up no earned runs. Now, how they scored was Ozzie had a very bad bonehead mistake. Walt talked about it in the postgame. He didn't mention Ozzie by name, but he said you cannot make mistakes like this against teams like this because this team doesn't strike out a lot. So they're able to put guys moving and stuff. And you thought, oh my God, it's going to be one of these games where we get beat 2-1, something like that, because Harrison was almost unhittable. Just one of those bonehead things that happens to all players. And Ozzie had to feel bad, but Chris Sale threw good, Ryan.
Yeah, Chris Sale threw really good. I think he threw 5 2/3, gave up, they weren't earned runs, but a couple runs. Austin Riley also had a bonehead play, too. He thought he caught the ball
Yeah.
and then just ended up throwing to first instead of turning a double play that would end the inning, and that allowed another run across. So a little bit of sloppy defense there for this game by the Braves. Kyle Harrison, I can't say it enough, was just an absolute menace out there on the mound, just carving the corners and just carving right through the Braves lineup. But at the end of the day, man, they just found a way. They didn't give up. They didn't give in. They worked the pitch count up as best they could on Harrison. They got into the bullpen again. And like we said, it was going to come down to probably 2 or 3 pitchers in the back end of their bullpen, and we covered 2 of them on the hip coil, and Ozzie listened.
Austin, funny, Austin made up for his. He gets the RBI and gets an RBI, and then Ozzie is going to make up for his. He walks it off in the bottom of the ninth against a guy who's 10-0. Ashby's been great for them. You brought him up on the hip coil. He's been fantastic, and he took him out of the ballpark. He did what we talked about. everybody has an offense needs to look at the guys that are doing good right now. They're hitting the ball middle, backside, and they're doing it consistently. Ozzie just was, when you talked it real quick, Ryan, because you played the field like I did. When you make the mistake in the field, you always can feel good if you make up for it at the plate. And they, in both Austin, I know he only had the one RBI, but Ozzie for sure with his three really made up for that.
Yeah, it makes the pain go away. Look, I mean, you got those guys know they can't make those mistakes, especially against the one of the best teams in all of Major League Baseball. But um, I mean, at the end of the day, Ozzy's the reason why we won the baseball game. I mean, and it takes the team to do it, but without Ozzy doing what he did offensively, there we don't have a snowball's chance in hell to win that baseball game. He drove in 3 runs, two of them on the homers, and then Austin Riley drove in the other one. So, look, Ozzy's made what 2 or 3 errors all year long. They're gonna happen. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen at a great time. I don't think there's ever a great time for him to happen. So you kind of forgive him and move on. And Ozzy's felt really good after that, and felt like a weight was probably lifted off his shoulders because he probably felt like he let the team down, but he was able to pick him right back up just like we needed him to.
Yeah, and the other thing that helped us win the game was Didier gave up the run, but I'm with you. Austin cost him that run. That should have been a double play out of the inning. Um, you can't guess if you catch or not. Just go through the play. He throws it to second. He gets the same out if he's a line drive. The guy was off at second. So all of that, I don't know what Austin was doing. And then Karinchak had pitched well too. So they had to go deep in the bullpen. And then Walt decided to go for the win down one in the ninth. And Dylan Lee was, that's the reason I thought Russ rhymed, because Dylan Lee the second day looked great again. And that's what we need out of Robert Suarez and Iglesias. But that was a big part of the game that bullpen come in and kept them right where they were.
I mean, that's been the one constant all year long, right? I mean, it's every time that we need those guys to come in and shut the door down, it seems like they're doing it. Besides, the only time that comes to my mind was in Chicago when Iggy had tried to go more than an inning to get the save, and he gave up the walk-off homer. But that's really the only time that I remember that the back end of the bullpen let us down. I mean, they've been just rock solid all year long. It's been the one constant. And I'll be honest with you, I'm glad that's the one constant, because the one thing that I hate is when your team plays so good through 2/3 of the game for it to end poorly in the last 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah, it's a team deflator too. If you blow a game late, it's hard to recover from. And the prime example of that's the Pittsburgh Pirates. They blew that game late to us on that weekend, and they have not been the same team since. It just deflates you. And so we went in the series, and y'all want to see the Aussie home run? Here it is. It's a thing of beauty. He said he knew he hit it out of the ballpark, and he just didn't know if it was going to be fair. So Ozzy knows the ballpark well because it went 326 feet. He just got out of the park, so good for Ozzy. So good. So we get to game three, and I just let you know it's the craziest game I think I've ever seen in my life. Bryce, but we don't want to hear this. But Walt's right. Bryce for 5 innings was unhittable. And then for some reason in the second inning, his sinker was flat. He was up in the strike zone. And as Walt said in his post game, they didn't miss one of these pitches. And he gives up 8 runs, which we can't have in the postseason, Bryce. But Bryce knows that. We always talk about Bryce being a bulldog. He proves that. He goes 6 innings. He saves the bullpen. I don't know. I don't know what happened in the second inning, but his sinker was very flat. The cutter wasn't moving, and they did not miss a pitch in that second inning, Ryan.
Ken, you're more of the pitching guru than I am, but that points towards something more mechanical, in my opinion, right?
It's really,
If you're losing that much movement and that much feel that quickly, something's got to be off with your mechanics. And I mean, after he went in the inning, looked at the iPad, him and Hefner had a little powwow down there, if you will. He seemed to do a lot better coming back out, obviously, and didn't give up much in the next 4 innings or whatever he pitched. But look, you play Major League Baseball, you got to be able to make mechanical and any other kind of adjustments on the fly, because you're in the big leagues. Guys are making adjustments all the time. I'm not going to let that be your excuse as to why things got away from you. It's because, well, I just couldn't figure out figure it out. Well, you got to figure it out. If you're not going to figure it out, you're not going to stay. And that's why you weren't really staying up here the last few years, Bryce, is because you couldn't figure out what you needed to do. So you know what you need to do, figure it out, stay out there on the mound, give this team a chance to win. Because right now in the last 3 to 4 starts, you haven't been doing that consistently. And this team needs you right now to do that, to be that guy where we get Bryce Elder bump day. We know we can get 5 to 7 innings of 3 earned run to no earned run baseball, and we're missing that right now from any right-handed pitcher in the starting rotation. It's just not there.
I will say this: what I think happened, and we'd have to talk to Jeremy and Bryce, is I think it was in his release. When I went back and looked at the film, I think he got off in his release point, and everybody. And look, Matt Olson Burner, you can go ahead and DM me and kill me here because I know you're on Bryce not being a playoff starter, and I do agree he maybe not what we want in game two, but Joey Bart had not ever caught Bryce Elder, and that release point could be something Joey might not have picked up on, where if you had Drake or Sean back there, they might a visit to the mound would have got Bryce fixed that way. So he almost had to get in the dugout. Jeremy and all of them, like Ryan's point, looked at the iPad, fixed him, and he was okay after that. Yes, it's inexcusable. We understand that, and I agree with everything written today on Twitter. But I will say Joey Bart, and you know me, he's a tech guy. I love him. And there's nothing wrong, but when you see a pitcher, you almost need to see him throw one time. I guarantee you Joe Bart's now going to go out there and talk to him about his release point, and that's why the sinker and the cutter were flat in the second inning. And I think that's really what caused it, Ryan. So, what are your thoughts on that? That having that catcher hadn't caught him yet, couldn't pick that up, and they had to get in the dugout to do it.
I think that was kind of noticeable in the sales start too a little bit. I didn't necessarily agree with all the pitch calling that Joey Bart did. I think I'm not saying it's Joey's fault because Chris Sale didn't execute some pitches, but I mean Chris Sale was over 100 pitches in the sixth inning, and that's normally not Chris Sale esque. It was still a really good start by Chris. I'm just nitpicking a little bit, but it is a thing, a comfort level with your catcher knowing how to go out there and be the extension of the pitching coach and for your pitching knowledge so you can get fixed is a big thing. And Bryce didn't necessarily have that with Joey Bart, and it's not either one of them's fault. I will say for Bryce, you need to have more of a feel for yourself when your sinker's flat, when your cutter's flat, to say, oh, I need to do X, Y, and Z, or try X, Y, and Z to get it back, because you can't just keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. Because when you did that, you gave up 8 earned runs in 1 inning to the Milwaukee Brewers, who are not a team that slugs very much. So, got to do better in that department.
Yeah, and this is not a knock on Joey either. It's just hard the first time you catch in a guy. So I think they'll get all that fixed. And you got to remember, it was a 2-1 ball game with 2 outs when all this broke loose. So not much to talk about on the hitting side. We want to get into the numbers on why this team is struggling. Rowdy Torres hit his first home run as a Brave. Good for him. Hopefully, it's one of the last one he hits. No, Ryan knows I don't want him on the team, but look, Walt says he's great in the clubhouse and he wants that big stick. So let's keep him down there. And if he can hit a home run every once in a while, it'll be okay. But here's the number. I'm gonna give them to you. We have three guys, Ryan. We'll get talking hitting guru. They have three guys: Mauricio Dubon, Ozzie Albies, and Matt Olson on this homestand were 19 for 58. 327 batting average. That's pretty good. That dog will hunt. What did the other 9 guys? We're taking Michael Harris out. Michael Harris did not really play enough couple of games. The other 9 guys did 9 for 76, including Drake Baldwin, 2 for 24 with 11 strikeouts, 083 batting average. That's where the problem lies, is that we only have 3 guys hitting right now. And in runners in scoring position, we talked about it on the last recap, the road trip, we were 194 on the road. We hit 138 on this homestand. The problem with the Braves, and we'll show you what the problem with the pitching is, the problem with the Braves is they got 3 guys hitting right now and the rest of the team's not. Do you concur, Ryan?
Oh, I concur. I can. I before you even gave me the stats, you were like, "Who are the 3 that you think hit the best this series?" And I said Dubon, Ozzie, and Matt Olson. I was like, it was nobody else. I said it was those 3 carrying the load, and you go, "Yep." And then you gave me the stats, and I was like, yeah, that does not surprise me in the least, unfortunately. So, look, Ken, me and you have talked a lot about it. I have been hard on this dude for a long time. By the way, Kim's just absolutely lost right now. I don't even know what to do for him. But the one guy that will really get everything clicking in the right direction again, Drake Baldwin will definitely help once he gets going. But again, the guy that sets this lineup up to be its best, to perform its best, is Austin Riley. When he is clicking down there in that 4, 5, 6 hole, wherever Walt chooses to put him at, is when this lineup gets lengthened. It gets more dangerous because Austin Riley is a 30 home run threat, but he has been absolutely dog water this year, and I am tired of seeing it. So, Austin, I'm talking to you, honey. This team depends on you to be Austin Riley. I don't know what you're doing because it ain't whatever you're doing when you're thinking about your mechanics, whatever the crap that you're doing under it ain't working. It is approach. I have been preaching this since what, Ken, the Arizona series back in April. I've been preaching this and it's still not fixed. I just don't understand how that is going, honey. How are we not addressing this at this point of the season? It's June 21st, and we are still. Everybody who is listening to this podcast, if you do not believe me, go look at his spray chart. It is terrible. It is terrible. And you don't even have to look at the spray chart. You can look at his pull percentage, how much it's jacked up, and how much he is not using the middle part of the field. His middle part of the field percentage is like 20%, which is well below his career norms. So that's telling me that you're pulling off the baseball. And I did this whole video on Brave Zip Cool if you guys want to tune into that. And I think Ken posted it here if you guys want to tune into it. But get back to driving the ball hard up the middle to right center field. When you do that, when you quit trying to pull every dang thing, when you quit trying to earn everything back in one swing, because it's not going to happen. You have to earn it pitch by pitch, at bat by at bat to get your stats back where they want to. If you think it's going to come with one swing, honey, it ain't. It's going to be accumulation of good at bats. Then the swings come because then you're keeping everything in the strike zone. When right now, the last at bat of this series, he literally threw you nothing but cutters outside, and he knew you were going to get yourself out. You got a 3-1 count, and then you chased 2 cutters, and you're way out in front, and you struck out. Like, make the adjustment. Get back to right center field. It's stupid obvious what they're doing to you, and you're a major league player. You can be a freaking MVP candidate, and you choose to suck at this point in the year. It's stupid. Get your head out of your rear end and stop overthinking it and get back to the approach because it's nothing mechanical. Your swing, I've already looked into it. It's just as good as 23, 21, 22. Your approach sucks. Please fix it.
So the other thing is Baldwin and Harris. Harris has been out. Baldwin is just getting back. I think the offense will pick up with them going too. They've got to get going. You can tell Baldwin's not really all the way back with 11 strikes. That's unlike Drake. So the other part that's going on is the pitching staff. First of all, forget about the relief corps. The relief corps, even Carlos Carrasco gave up 1 run and 4. They all pitch well. So just all of them, good job. So in the starting rotation, this is how it looks. We won 2 games on this homestand because Sell and Perez were outstanding. 11 2/3, 1 earned run, 10 hits, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. You take that all day long. Elder, Holmes, and Ritchie in their starts. 13 innings, 16 runs, 22 hits, 7 walks. They did have 14 strikeouts, thanks mostly to JR and Elder's 2 starts. They had a bunch of strikeouts. This screams, and we'll announce something that's coming up. This screams we are going to have to go and trade and get a starting pitcher for this rotation, Ryan. That's not even guess. Alex, you got to go get a starting pitcher. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, we don't have the starting pitching depth that's ready to come up here and be a number 1, a number 2, number 3 in a playoff series. Look, well, I know everybody wants Waldrop to come up and be our Lord and Savior up. He's not ready. He's not ready. He's not even going 5 innings yet in minor leagues, guys. He's coming off of elbow surgery. We do not need. He's throwing 70 pitches. We do not need him to come up here and get thrown right into the fire. He needs a few more starts down in the minor leagues, and he needs to build up and be ready up here in July for us. Okay, so get off of that wagon. Um, Owen Murphy might get a chance here soon, but there's nobody else. So you definitely got to go get a starting pitcher, if not two. You need one impact guy. You need a number two, number three guy that can start in a playoff series, and you need a guy for depth. That's what you need in my opinion. It might change if Hurston comes up and is absolutely lights out and he can't be that number two, but I'm not banking on a guy who's got 1 year service time to come up and be my number two in the National League Division Series or National League Wild Card Series in Game 2.
Hurston's not coming to be the number two, but Hurston's definitely going to come to pitching tail. He threw the ball very good today in Gwinnett. He's probably 2 starts more in Gwinnett being here, so he's probably going to be up here around July 4th weekend or whatever. And he'll get thrown in there. We'll see how the other three pans out. So, with that said, 2-3 homestand, 1-4 road trip. We go out west. Let's go ahead and turn our sights to San Diego. They're going through the same thing. One of my good sources, you always want to say, well, how's he got good source? I know so many people around the country, and we'll just go nicknames here. Rhino is one of my favorite guys. He's San Diego, writes for them, follows them. And he told me, he said, y'all going to come in here and sweep us. As we're texting each other, I'm afraid you're going to sweep us. So it's funny. Both teams are doing the same thing. They're struggling with runners in scoring position. They're struggle hitting. Their starting pitchers are kind of all over the place with a great bullpen. So they're identical teams. So let's go to the series. This is what we got, Ryan. Holmes, Monday night against Michael King. Michael King's 4-6. Tells you how they're not scoring runs, by the way. 3.60 ERA. Holmes 4-3, 3.33. The kid Richie goes Tuesday night, 1-2, 4.454. They're going to throw Herman Marquez, check into the hip coil. He throws a curveball, knuckle curve, so they figured let him go instead of Griffin Canning. He's got a 5.76 ERA. Then our second best pitcher, Martin Perez, goes on Wednesday, and he gets Randy Vasquez, who's 6-5 with a 4.17. We should hit him, but if anybody remembers last year, he ate our lunch last year. Not a good team last year he played against. He had a lot of Luke Williams in the lineup, but still, Nick Allen, that kind of stuff. He does have a good fastball. So with that said, what do you think of our chances in San Diego?
I'm feeling confident that we can win one game. That game is Game 3. It's just a complete wild card with what you're going to get out of Holmes and J.R. Ritchie at this point, so you don't really know. You don't know what the offense is going to do. I don't look. Michael King normally eats us up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single time he starts against us. So I'm not confident in Game 1 at all. But Game 2, I think, is going to be the swing game. Whoever wins that one probably wins the series. It's you could see, yeah, I could see us getting swept. I could see us winning 1 out of 3. I could see us winning 2 out of 3. I could see us getting swept. It all depends on the offense. That's literally what it depends on. If we hit, we're going to do really well. If we keep struggling with the bats, we're not going to do so hot, Ken.
Yeah, it's a difficult. One of the things that everybody needs to realize, whoever has the lead going into the eighth inning of these two teams, game's probably over. They got two guys more, Hahn and Miller, can hit. I expect Suarez to be really up for this series, and Raciel, I think hopefully he'll get to pitch a couple times, get into sequence. Our bullpen overall, the length of it's better than San Diego by just a smidge. And that's probably because of Didier Fuentes. It's a little bit better than what they have in that spot. So with that said, tough series. What's your prediction for the series?
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they proved me wrong against the Brewers, and against all odds, they found a way to win 2 out of 3. So I'm saying we're going to win 2 out of 3, but I'm not at all confident in that chat. Like when I say I'm not confident at all, I'm not confident at all.
I would be very confident 2 out of 3 if we were hitting because of the matchups, but we're not hitting, and it is San Diego. We used to be, that's why we wore the Del Murphy jersey. Back in the day, we owned San Diego in San Diego, and then something changed. And every time we went out west, it just started becoming like Chavez Ravine. I think we're going to bounce back, take 2 out of 3. And if things go well, who knows? If we win the first 2 games like we did against the Brewers, I fully expect us to sweep this series. I believe that much in Martin Perez, but I do not believe we can take the first game. So I'll go 2 out of 3. If we're to do that, who's your MVP?
Well, we did the hip coil first tonight, and you stole my MVP pick, so I went with Drake Baldwin. I think Drake gets back on track, and I think he has a really good series out west. Ken, go ahead and tell the people who you stole from me.
He stole mine last time, so we do this a lot. I'm going Michael Harris. The 3 guys we know are hitting, they need help, and these are the 2 guys that's the most likely to come in and hit. And I think a good flight for Drake. I think he tried to impress a little bit. I think he wanted to prove to the Atlanta crowd. It was great crowds, by the way, over the Brewers series, like a playoff crowd. So that's really good. And so I think a little pressing. I think he'll relax. He's going to get 3 right-handers as well. I think he'll like that. I think Michael's going to rate 2. And so I'm going to go Michael Harris, Drake Baldwin. So that's what we think. So let's win a series. We do want to announce when we get to our final thought, we are going to add another podcast. Ron's so excited. He can't help to work harder. Uh, we're going to start doing our trade shows. Thursday, we're going to do the first one, and we're going to be 6 weeks to trade deadlines, about where we're at right now. So that way, we'll do one every week to try to get you up to thing. Are you excited about doing trade deadline talk?
Are we doing live shows or are we doing podcasts?
We're going to do podcast. We'll see if we break into a live show. I don't know yet. We'll see. Um, we'll see how it goes. We'll
I'm
see.
excited to talk about the
I,
deadline.
I will tell you this here. If something does break, we're already geared up to do this. We're going to break in and we'll do. We won't call them what our boys over at Hammer calls it, or I don't know what Jake and Lindsay call theirs, but we'll have a name for ours. We'll break in, and if the Braves do a trade or something that affects the ball club, it won't be a Joey Bart trade, but if something big happens, we'll jump in. But we will. Now here's the deal: y'all can keep sending me, Ryan, Aaron, Andrew, all of us, Ben. You can keep sending us all these trades. It's 43 days to trade. So they're not supposed to say, yeah, we're cutting ties. I seen the Houston Astros made a big statement. We're not selling. Well, they shouldn't be selling. It's June. Dana Brown starts selling now. They fire him in Houston. What's he doing? I mean, they've won 3 straight series. They won't try to get back. Anybody paid attention to the American League? It's terrible. And in the National League, everybody's good. Why would anybody sell? The only team that probably should sell that's not even thinking about selling right now is the Mets. I mean, the
Angels.
Mets. Well, I'm talking about the National League. The Mets are terrible. The Mets are now. The Mets are now. This is no lie. They're 6 games out of next. The Nationals. They're terrible. I mean, they're 14 and a half out. They're 9 games under 500. I
Getting
mean,
blown out by the Phillies as we speak.
yeah, they're just, so guys, on this trade deadline, it's fun. Y'all send us all you can, but just because Byron Buxton says he's effing staying in Minnesota, he's supposed to say that. And if Artie Moreno says he wants to keep Detmers and Adele and Soriano, he's supposed to say that. This is called, I explained to my daughter, not the one that knows sports that's in the hospital right now, but the other one who didn't really like sports. I explained to her, if you got a couch and you want to sell this old couch, the person comes up and asks you about it, what are you going to tell them? I love this couch. I've had this couch in my family my whole life. I'm not selling this couch so you can get the price up. This is all this is. And anybody else that breaks it down other than this, guys, they're lying to you. They're trying to look like geniuses. We're at Hardcore Braves are going to be honest with you. Right now, it's all we got is we got this jostling, try to get the best deal for both sides. The fact of the matter is if any team falls out of it, they're going to sell. And if any team's close, they're going to go for it. That's their big secret. And we're going to try to break it down week by week. So tune in. We'll start, and we're excited. Erin probably more excited than any of us. She loves the trade deadline, Ryan. You know she's into that stuff.
Buddy, we've been talking deadline since June 1st. What you
With Erin,
talking about?
Aaron loves it. So, all right. So let's get out of here. Final thought. What you got?
I said this over on the hip cool, but everybody who make sure that you tell your loved ones how much they mean to you because life can turn in an instant, and unfortunately, they did that for one of the more well-known followers on Braves Twitter at 3x5. Her first name's Megan. She unfortunately had got revealed to her that stage 4 cancer has now metastasized to her brain. So my thoughts and prayers are going out to her and her family, and that's it. Just sucks. So I hope that everybody can kind of take a step back and just realize and be appreciative of the things that they do have because it can be snatched away from you so quickly that you don't even remember what it was like to not to have those things. So appreciate what you do have and appreciate the people around you and make sure they know how much that you care about them because things can turn very quickly.
Yeah, and of course, my final thought is, and that's affected our family right now. My daughter and so many of you reached out to us. I want to say thank you. She is doing much better, and hopefully good enough to maybe she'll eventually come out of the hospital. And so we appreciate them. I join Ryan in praying for Megan. That's awful. The other thing is Braves still have the best record in baseball. The Dodgers got smashed today by the Orioles, so things could be worse. But as y'all do tweet, it is right. It is worrisome going into the playoffs, but luckily that's 100 days away. So let's just concentrate on Padres and let's have a good series, okay? We love you, Braves country. We're out of here. Peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.